United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right,
Ms. Davis. Here. Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Ms. Perkins. Here. Mr. Walter.
Here.
all right, council. As you are aware, Sean Kaiser gave his resignation week, and he was president pro tem council. So the first order of business has to be to act on that this evening. So we'll take nominations and then a vote.
I nominate Nick.
Does anyone have any interest in doing it before someone is voluntold? I can't second myself.
Any other?
I'll second that. Ms. Davis. Yes. Mr. Kennedy.
That was a motion. That was a nomination.
And she seconded it.
So we're okay with it being a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ms. Davis. Yes. Mr. Kennedy.
Abstain.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Ms. Perkins. Yes. Mr. Walter.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Congrats.
Thanks, I think.
All righty. We have several things to go through this evening. And the first one I want to do is to recognize Chief Hill, who has served this village a long time, so I'm going to come out here. You? Yep. All right. We can step up here. So, let me see if I brought that piece of paper, because I wanted to just read. I know people don't like to be read to, but Chief, as most of you know, that he's served us for 20 years, and 20 of that as an officer, and then moved into a lieutenant position, and then into chief position, and I've had worked closely with him, and so personally have been very pleased to work with you and to know you. This is something I wrote that I wanted to share with all of you. His ability to manage and lead internally, as well as juggle the whims of a political overseeing body and still keep his department unified and functioning at a high level of expertise, is commendable. He has overseen all the needs of the village police department, worked cooperatively with multiple outside entities, helped mold his subordinates, planned and executed large budgets, handled sensitive issues and situations with finesse, and dealt appropriately with discontented residents. I have appreciated his professional approach throughout it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope that in your endeavors ahead that it will be as rewarding, because I know this has been rewarding, hasn't been without its difficulties, but I appreciate your commitment to Plain City and all that you've brought to the table because of who you are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This says thank you. Your outstanding contribution to the police department and subsequently the village as a whole, Chief Jim Hill, 22 years of service. This had to be done quickly.
I understand.
But thanks again.
Thank you very much. And everybody, thank you for coming tonight that did come for this. I just want to say first off that it's been an honor and a privilege to serve this community and my family. So.
And I wanted to say that as well. Chief has held all of you in high regard, has wonderful words to say about all of you. So thank you for your commitment to him and what you've been able to help him do.
I wish Plain City nothing but the best going forward, health and happiness. Hopefully, as things go forward, it continues to improve, and it's a great community. So, thank you all.
Thank you, Jim. right, those of you who came for chief are welcome to stay, or you may go on.
Can I
Always
leave
give you
with
that
you?
option. Pardon?
Can I leave with you?
Now you have a report. Okay. We do have a public hearing this evening. So I'm opening this public hearing for ordinance 215, the rezoning request for 315 North Chillicothe Street. Anyone here for that? Questions, comments?
What is 315 North Chillicothe?
It is the Steve Rice residence at Notman and North Chillicothe. All right. Going.
Well, why do they want to rezone it?
Why did they rezone?
I mean, do they want to rezone their whole lot, or?
It was an area that had been rezoned a few years ago to include it in a historic district. They want to put an addition on, and so it's being rezoned to accommodate that.
Okay, well, it's not a housing development.
Just their parcel.
Yes, just there. Anything else? All right, I'm closing this hearing. Okay, we have, looking for it. Tim Suter is here. We're going to go ahead and do you, Tim. Tim is with First Energy, and he had a presentation he wanted to.
Yeah, I'm only gonna take about a half hour, 45 minutes. Over the last couple of years, Mayor and I have been talking about different funds that might be available for the community. And it seems like in the past, any of the money that the First Energy Foundation had kind of went to the bigger cities and all that. So started working at it, and it's a slow process. You know, 2008, 2009, I think everybody felt a huge hit. Our foundation took a huge hit, and things were slowly coming up. So I've just been, trying to tug and pull and everything else. UPCO, we believe in the economic development of UPCO, and I think it was from you, Mayor, that really inspired, things going there. So this last one, we have the clock tower project. I'd like to present you a check tonight for that. It's not as much as it had hoped, but it is $2,500, and hopefully that'll be part of getting that thermometer up there.
Yes,
Get it all read. Anyways, get moving with the project.
is that
So.
Coke here?
Yes,
ma'am.
John's out there. Money. Do we want a picture with John?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to come in for a picture? Sure.
Yeah, money for you, boy.
Well, you're all right. Who's hard?
thanks.
Money, money, money. I don't know.
All right, the camera.
Hey, no.
Take a selfie.
It's not as much as I had hoped for, but it's a start.
Yeah, it's hope.
Hopefully it'll boost it.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier that we are working on another grant for later in the year with UPCO that we've given over there. Trying to double or put more into that to help them out. It's because of your leadership, our conversation, Kevin's ability, you guys talking to me about, hey, what the needs are of the community, and I would just keep encouraging, anytime you do have it. I'll tell you no, just like I tell
I'll
everybody else.
send more
no.
letters, just tell me when.
So, yeah,
Thank
that's all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's good.
Council, you received the minutes from the April 27th meeting. Any questions? Motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
And you had current expenses emailed to you. Any questions there?
Was the 12 cents an error, or is that?
It's a rounding error is what it is through on the payroll for the PRS and
Motion to approve the expenses.
Second.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins? Yes. Mr. Walter?
Yes.
All right. Reports. Renee?
No.
That's okay. All right, Chief Hill.
Yeah, the only two things I had to report tonight is that Officer Aaron Howard and Officer David Drudy attended advanced detection and apprehension alcohol prosecution and ADAP course, so it's to make an arrest on OVI drivers. And then we had the PTO school carnival and everything went well with that, so that's all I have to report.
He says with a smile.
Yeah. No planes, but. All right, village administrator.
Good evening. A couple of things. Today we started hydrant flushing, and we'll be performing this throughout the week. Hopefully we'll wrap that up by the end of the week. Mid-Ohio Classic Scooter Show is this week, begins Wednesday. However, we do have many vendors and participants coming in, arriving as early as yesterday. So be careful as you drive around and look for scooters. We're also, the pool is full, and we're getting things ready for opening day, which is Saturday, May 23rd at 11 a.m. We did have our part-time maintenance worker in the street department has resigned, took a position that provided a better wage. Also, I'm working with Manick and Smith on the few issues regarding the water plant improvement specifications and reviewing our options for OPWC grants. That's all.
I'm sorry, who did you say left?
Our part-time maintenance worker.
All right.
Still dealing with the lead litigation. We're in the discovery phase. Things are going as expected. At some point, when more significant things happen, we have an executive session to discuss it. Otherwise, everything's fine. That's pretty much it right now.
Planning and zoning.
We will be meeting on the 20th. We will not have the public hearing. It will be done on June 17th.
Great. BCA?
We are meeting on the 20th as well. Are you using this room? At what time?
6:30.
Meeting on the 20th.
Easy, yes. And then this is to get more out. Do you want to go? You want on that one?
Yeah, I emailed. What did you?
I just said P and Z were not
But
having a
BZA
public
is not
hearing.
having
No,
it.
yeah.
BZA is not meeting.
Our meeting has been canceled now?
I don't think she has, but,
I haven't received any notification.
we'll check.
Okay. Sure, thank you.
All right. Kevin, anything new on CIC?
Yes, one thing there, Madison County CIC is in the process of reevaluating and restructuring their membership fee schedule. Currently, the fees range anywhere from $350 for a community up to $10,000 for a community of similar size. There's a lot of discussion being had on the subject, and no decision has been made yet. I will certainly report back any decisions, but I do anticipate a rather sizable increase in our membership fees to the Madison County CIC.
When is that due? When's that due?
Is it first of the year?
First of the year, January, February. Yeah.
Our current membership is $500 per year.
Thank you.
Park?
Sure, we have been discussing now in previous meetings, we've been putting together a master plan. We've broken that out into, I believe, 8 or 9 topics, meeting on one topic each month. The meeting prior to this most recent one, we felt that it would be a good idea to basically have Kevin give us a walkthrough of the park. So we all had, I guess, the inner workings of the park, so to speak. So we toured the pool and some other areas. I was only able to attend the pool tour for family reasons. I had to ditch out on the second half of it. But so we just essentially acquainted ourselves with the inner workings of the park, and we'll resume our master plan planning next month.
All right, anything new on personnel planning, yes? We'll talk to address that at some point. Anything new with fire?
Thursday night.
Thursday.
Meeting. 5:30.
Thank you. And UPCO, is there someone that wanted to report?
Next meeting is going to be next Thursday, the 21st, 7 o'clock at Lee's. Everyone's welcome. We'd love to have you there for your input. Always use more help, so feel free to show up.
Great, thank you. All right. Old business is third reading of ordinance 215, the rezoning request for 315 North Chillicothe.
Motion to approve the third reading of ordinance 2-15.
Seconded.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. We do have a visitor that wanted to speak to council this evening, Rebecca Berry.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm here today actually after reading an article in the Plain City Advocate about an issue that Councilmember Kennedy brought up at the last meeting, which was the bags that were thrown on our lawns, and it just kind of spoke to me because that's something that actually drives us crazy as well. And I was just wondering if any progress had been made to discover what could be done about that. We've lived here 10 years. It seems to me at one point they were hung on our doors, but obviously it's no longer the case. I found 3, 5 when the snow melted. If it's raining out, the whole thing is ruined. It's soaking wet. So, I mean, we do the same thing. We pretty much just trash it. Aside from the fact that it's littering, I view it as littering on my lawn, it's also very wasteful. And I don't know how many residences there are in Plain City, but to be throwing that much paper just out there and then throwing in the garbage in this day and age, I just don't see how that's necessary or responsible. So that's all I had to say, but I was curious about any
Sure.
progress that had been made.
Speak to
Certainly.
that.
I spoke with the media group and the company that is the contractor for delivering those bags. Both were very apologetic and said that is not their standard of practice, and they will certainly work to correct that issue. So if we hear anything further, please let us know, and we'll follow up with them again.
Mine was on the porch the first time after that, and then this time it was in the article, so.
Yeah, I don't know, ultimately, at the end of the day, that addresses the concerns that you just spoke of, which was just the unsightliness and the fact that it's a waste of resources. I know last time we had a meeting, we talked about determining whether or not it fit within the means of our solicitation or no solicitation requirements here in the
It
village.
falls into the littering. And I think that's what we looked at last time, or what I looked at last time, it fell within the littering. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody's jumping up and down and why it makes this a big police matter, but at the end of the day, if they are the media folks that are in charge of it, then they decide it for them.
And as far as solicitation, do you know?
I looked at it at the last meeting, and I didn't think that it fit while we were talking during the discussion. Is that the solicitation that we have is more door-to-door person. It's not, it doesn't deal directly with an advertisement being placed in a mailbox or anything like that. It deals with an individual going door-to-door selling vacuum cleaners or something to that effect. But, yeah, I looked it up last time we were talking. I can look at it right now.
What about kids selling Girl Scout cookies and all that stuff for the schools? Is that going to affect them?
Sorry, what would affect them?
Going door to door selling Girl Scout
We're
cookies?
not
and-
talking about door to door, though.
I know that, but you're talking about delivering the papers and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. What about a newspaper? Is it going to affect your newspaper every day?
No, because you basically invited them to.
Can't hear you.
You've invited them to deliver your paper.
And they pay the postal service to deliver them, unlike this place that just throws them out of a car.
And we're not suggesting a change here tonight. We're just talking about what's,
Under 72302. Looks like ours hasn't been updated in a while. 72301.
Well, we're trying to start passing it back tonight.
Well, I can't look it up here because it's not on the Wi-Fi, and this is working.
so we'll look into it and know for sure by the next meeting.
So if I'm to understand the question is, would the solicitation or the littering put the village in a position of saying, stop delivery? Is that what you were asking, Nick?
Well, if it's obviously in violation of our solicitation regulations, then I would think we would have a duty to do so.
Right.
I think the question after that is, especially after hearing from other citizens, is whether or not there's actually a desire for the community to not get these at all, for a host of reasons. I apologize, I don't know my email address off the top of my head, but if you know it, Kevin, feel free to shout it out. You can put it in the newspaper. People email me about how they feel. We all would like to know. Because honestly, I can't imagine we're the only, I should say it this way. Honestly, I would be surprised if other communities didn't outright ban these things already. Because literally, I ran today after I got home from work, and there were 3 or 4 in the gutters, and that's where they're going to end up after this rain. It's a waste, and it's unsightly. And frankly, I don't use them, and I'm assuming our experiences aren't unique. So I think the question goes further than that, Bob.
Right, I mean, like I said at the last meeting, when I looked it up the last time, and I'll send everybody a formal response probably tomorrow afternoon. I'll take a look at our ordinance, because I can't pull it up right now. It may be something that we want to do a legislative change to, because as I remember from looking at it last time, the definition of solicitor didn't encompass this mail delivery or this advertisement delivery. It's more door to door. And so my knee-jerk reaction looking at it was just that it was going to fall into the littering. If they're throwing it into your yard, they're littering. You know, they're not putting it in your mailbox or on your mailbox or on your doorstep. They just chuck it in your yard and driving. That's littering. And it's not something that we necessarily want to have the police spending their resources on chasing them down. Now, if it's littering and we can identify who it is and who they work for, then we can contact them and say, look, we are now going to press charges against you as the employer for doing that and the individuals that are doing it. So those are options. But I'll get you guys a response, kind of breaking it down, and if there's a legislative, kind of throw out there if you guys are interested in a legislative change to look at whether or not, number one, we can do it from a constitutional standpoint as far as free commercial speech, what kind of regulations we put on it.
I'm assuming it's not, from what you recall of the regulation, it's not content-based.
No.
Right. So in other words, like if I had a beer can and wrote a message on there and called it advertising and threw it on your porch, it's the same thing.
Right.
So I would be surprised, and it probably doesn't fall under solicitation like that. All right. Thank you.
Okay. So think about what you would want that to look like if it comes back next meeting and he tells us that it doesn't cover it. Think about what you might want that to look like if that's what you are interested in doing, making a change. Okay. So moving into new business, we have, first thing on there is to adopt our updated codified ordinances, which updates that book he was just looking at. And that is ordinance 315, an ordinance to approve current replacement pages to the Plain City codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive 3 readings on ordinance 315.
I'll second it. Can I ask a question? Why are we doing this by emergency measure?
Because this is bringing our codified ordinances into compliance with the Ohio Revised Code changes that were passed earlier this year.
Oh, this is what we've already been discussing. Okay.
Yeah.
The way it was presented, I thought it might have been something different. I'm sorry.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes. Motion to pass 315 as an emergency.
Second. Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
Finally got bored.
Thank you, guys.
He's my brother.
How you doing?
Hey, good to see you. See you.
All right, we have resolution 1215, a resolution authorizing appropriation of $6,000 from the Village Green Space Fund to pay for pastime park water line replacement and repair.
Is that the first reading? Motion to approve 1215.
Second. Ms. Davis? Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes. We've been hitting our green space fund real heavy this year, just for everybody's plenty of information.
So then resolution 1315 is a resolution authorizing appropriation of $3,103.39 from the Recreation Fund to pay for repair and replacement of fencing for Pastime Park baseball diamond.
What was the extra 100 for? Because in the meeting previously, we had approved 3,000.
Correct. This is a recreation fund that is sitting out there that can only be used for recreation. So we decided that best is to use that money and get it off of our books type of thing.
It's a fund that hasn't been touched in
About 15 years.
15 years.
So
That's
that's the amount.
That's the
That
whole,
was it, the
it'll
third.
give it to the fund. That's the fund balance. The recreation fund balance.
Yeah, we can't put that money anywhere else.
It can only be used towards recreation.
Towards a heater. Okay. Motion to approve, I'm sorry, what was it?
13, 15.
13, 15.
Second.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Just to clarify that fund, it was something that was given to the village.
It was transferred from the general fund back in the years ago.
Why?
Don't,
You
previous
don't know
mayors.
why?
No.
Okay. Okay. So what's the fund that we have that we can't touch?
It's a
Is it
park
interest
trust.
based?
It's a park trust for 5,000 that was given to us that we can't use.
So there's a couple of strange things out there.
Can't use for any purposes whatsoever?
We can use the interest off of it. We can't use the.
It was donated to us when the interest on $5,000 was
Probably.
valuable consideration.
Now
Not by
it makes
yourself.
a difference.
Every year we buy a pack of gum for the kids.
There'll be no refreshments at that meeting.
Then we have a proclamation recognizing May 28th, 2015 as Plain City Lions Day. This is at the request of the Lions Club, who's got their 75th anniversary this year. So, we have to do a motion, by this.
Everybody
Just
voted.
take
Yeah,
a
everybody
note.
voted motion.
Make a motion, we approve the proclamation.
Right.
Okay.
Second. And everybody signed.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Ms. Perkins?
Yes.
Mr. Walter?
Yes.
Okay.
May 28th.
Just, May 28th. We're going to reprint this because Sean's name's on here, so we were going to reprint this because you all will sign it since you made a motion. So we'll make sure that you get to sign that.
So, just so we can stop in before the 28th, so we can get
We're
that
on
signed. Just drop by the office maybe and sign it. I think the goal was to have it in their possession for their banquet dinner.
The 25th. What's that?
The goal was to have it signed in their possession for their banquet dinner.
Kathy,
So-
can pop in next door, I'll email it to you. Print it out.
Tonight.
Now, you're talking about now. So, well, let's talk about the next council meeting, which is the 25th, and the holiday weekend. Do you want to have that meeting, move it? What's your pleasure? So make that decision.
Last year, we moved it to Tuesday, didn't we?
We did move it, I think.
I'm not, I go in.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
I'm
Have a
okay with
preference?
moving it a day.
Pardon?
I'm okay with moving it
To
to
Tuesday? Jim?
Donna?
Tuesday and Colleen, I guess. And we are officially moving the next meeting to Tuesday, I'm in the wrong month here. The 26th of May.
Keeping it 7 o'clock,
Yes.
not to rock the boat, but I was actually thinking this today, is there any historical reason why we've chosen 7 o'clock? I don't know if there's any interest to move it up, or there was a particular reason we had it at 7.
I don't know the history of the time.
Okay.
If you're interested in changing it, then we need some discussion here, I guess.
I just think, just with history, people get off work at 5.
Or
They or 6. They work in Columbus. By the time they get here, people don't
Okay,
have
so
to
7
rush.
o'clock works well for you, because I can be here earlier, and
Okay.
that's fine. 7 o'clock works, so no reason not to continue. but-
We'll leave it at 7.
All right.
All right. And I had emailed just to say that with the police chief position, we, both sergeants currently are officers in charge during if the chief is on vacation, or normally that's the way it is. And so we're just going to stick with that during the interim time, and when we'll move forward, making a decision about how we're going, how to hire, who to hire, that kind of thing will be done, hopefully by the end of June, before the end of June. We'll try to keep moving forward on that. Also, we're working on zoning position and public works. So that's the goal right now. All right. So you wanted to talk about designing local tonight?
Yeah, the comprehensive plan, they put together the formal proposal, which I had emailed prior to the last meeting, like right before the last meeting. And I think Kevin printed these out for us. So I guess we just need to know if there's additional questions we need to take back to them. Do we want to have them come back in again to discuss? Do we want to move forward with it? It's obviously a piece that I think is crucial, as we had talked with the financial advisor about doing a survey of our community with our citizens and setting up a plan so we know how to use our money that would be beneficial.
Was this bid, out of curiosity?
What was your question?
Was it bid?
Oh,
No, that's going to be a problem though with the $50,000, so
Well,
it would have to be bid, would it not?
No.
Yeah.
If it's in excess of 50,000, I believe the statute is written, I'm almost positive. It has to be in excess of 50,000, so 50 is okay. But simply because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. I mean, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with designing local, but I'm just thinking that it might be wise to bid it. I know that we did that with the engineering company, that, you don't want to just, because you can spend the money, if there's somebody that can do the same thing for less, and they're still, and again, it's bidding is lowest best bidder. So just because somebody comes in at 40,000, and if they're at 50, if some people that come in at 40,000 don't offer you the same services that designing local or whatever else comes in at, then you don't have to use it. But I throw that out there for you guys. Technically, yes, legally, you guys can, for 50,000, you can do it.
And the only reason we started with them was they had contacted us, and the mayor had sent the information on to me. The owner, one of the owners, grew up in Plain City, so.
another thought is that, we're coming out of this time with a consultant who's given us recommendations and shared a lot of information, and we know we need a comp plan, but maybe we need to take some time and sit down and make some decisions about goals before we move into another budget discussion, so that you know where to funnel those dollars a little better.
I was gonna make the same exact speech in the sense that
Go ahead.
we'll have David, I'm not trying to steal your thunder.
No.
We'll have David at our fingertips here, next meeting, or the 8th? June 8th, at which point he's supposed to be making recommendations to us. I assume that we will, although we haven't had questions at the previous meetings, we're all kind of saving it to hear this before we really kind of hit him with questions. So that's what I would want to do, right? Talk to him about whether or not this has value for us in the tune of $40,000 or $50,000, and if so, why? Because obviously every dollar we spend doing this is a dollar we don't spend doing something else. So I agree.
Does Rockmill have copies of this, do you know?
I don't believe they do.
I spoke to him about it, but I have not seen it. I just spoke to him after the last meeting.
And I think, from their perspective, they're gonna not recommend anything. They're going to, they've already suggested we need to retreat and figure out what direction we're going, that kind of thing, so.
When you say that, you mean Rockville?
Yes. So no other questions to funnel to these folks? Okay.
Thank you for all your work on this.
Okay. Also emailed that you wanted to talk about.
So we had spoke with Kevin regarding, we have the Spring Chicken and Fall Fest that we are doing as fundraisers for our fireworks, as well as the park use for the fireworks. Last year had been waived, the fee had been waived, and we were just asking if that could be waived again for those 3 events this year.
My opinion's the same as it was with the parades. We do it for one, we do it for all of them. We don't do it for some, we don't do it for any others. I mean, I think we need to treat everybody the same. The content should be irrelevant as a governmental body.
And depending on how you want it to move forward. If it's for all, that's one thing. If it's not for all, then you guys can't vote. Again, working with Rockmill to try to figure out ways to move forward financially, and regardless of the amount, we don't have enough money to do what we need to do, and these are revenue streams, regardless of how small, they're revenue streams. 2 cents.
What is the fee?
What is the fee, Kevin?
$600 for a full park rental.
So July 4th night, when we launch fireworks, we will be charged $600 for having the public in the park.
That obviously doesn't sit well, I understand that. But, I mean, from a, I think, a legal perspective, you're gonna say the same thing, right? Which is, we can't
Go ahead.
treat one group differently than another. So it's not a particular, I don't care for the particular fireworks. That's not true at all. I said the same thing when it came to the parade. We have to treat everyone the same. This isn't a matter of content.
And scooters have paid $600 to be there. Is that correct?
They have a contract with us, so it's $1,700.
And how many people rent out the park on some basis throughout the year?
Groups,
People.
Steam threshers, scooters, All Ford show. There's a handful.
What about partial renters, right? Just the whatever we call that house or the building there.
We need to move that a little.
Thank you.
It's a public meeting.
We don't have the numbers of how much usage those buildings get, and that's what we're going to be getting with software now, is those exact figures, but currently we don't have.
And we would have to treat them the same as well. In other words, we're not gonna carve out an exception to say folks who want the whole park get it free, but folks who want a portion of it have to pay for it. But of course, if I just want the youth boat, I just ask for the whole park and get it for free. And what about camping? It's effectively doing the same thing. Using a portion of the park that we charge for. And if we're not charging fireworks, then we can't charge campers.
Is the baseball association paying for their?
No, we don't charge them. We have a contract with them. Well, we charge them $1, don't we? Yeah, for the use of the diamonds.
So then we need to charge them. If we're talking about blanket charging, we charge everybody. We can't be selective.
Why doesn't the city want fireworks?
No one up here said they didn't want fireworks. No one said that. This is a council discussion.
So we're not supposed to come here and be public?
It's a council discussion. When they have a visitor section, you could have filled this out and I could have, but it is a council discussion. And it needs to remain that. You're welcome to sign this and at the next meeting I can have a voice. But right now, council is having
I know
discussion.
you're gonna talk about fireworks. You're gonna put all that out ahead of time so we know what you're gonna discuss?
If you want to speak to fireworks at the next meeting, you can come and sign this. You're welcome to do that. It's not anything against you, but this is a meeting where we have to
Against
be.
everybody in the community.
This is a
But we
meeting
can't
where we have to be.
discuss anything you bring up.
That's, and again, you know, I've said this in the past, and it's no disrespect to the people, the public
None.
that come here. It really isn't. We want people to show up to the meeting so that you're engaged and you understand what's going on. But this is the only opportunity the council has to meet to discuss public business in this forum. If you want an opportunity, you sign up, you have 2 minutes to state what you have to say, you get it out in front of council. Council can talk about it if they choose to. I'm certain that probably at the next meeting, you bringing this up, or, you know, they can talk about it. It's nothing against the public, but this is a limited time frame where council has to do its business.
Thank you. I don't know who was.
Why bother coming here?
May I ask one question? I understand the necessity to sign in. However, if it's not on the agenda, people don't know that they need to sign in to discuss it.
What, you mean put down on the agenda,
Yeah,
sign in?
things that are gonna be discussed should be on the agenda if we're gonna know to speak about them.
Well,
And I don't do email, so I don't want to find it on email.
We'll talk about how, do you get on the internet so you can look at it? Well, then how would you like to be informed? We aren't gonna mail this
You can put it out
agenda.
here on the board.
That's not a posting
I think there's
place,
an
but
ordinance that says you post it.
No, but we'll talk about
not.
what we might be able to do publicly, maybe make that.
You need to have on there what you're gonna discuss. We can't wait till
We
you bring
had an
something up.
agenda.
We don't know.
We had an agenda and things were asked at the last minute if we could be added to the agenda. We have a process, it's not always followed.
That's true.
It's all of us. All right, I don't know who was saying what about fireworks or fee. Or
Well,
not just fireworks, but.
To stake our claim, I guess. The Spring Chicken and the Fall Fest are put on by a committee of 2. We work very hard and that money goes to the fireworks shoot for July 4th. So the village of Plain City can celebrate July 4th. We do it for the village. The scooter show is there for scooter enthusiasts. It is not a village event. And again, somebody once said July 4th is not a village event, it's the Leslie Perkins event. I totally disagree with that statement. I don't do it for myself, I do it for the love of the village. So we do all that work. You know, we discount for baseball, I think we should at least discount the 2 fundraising events for us to raise money for the holiday. As far as charging for July 4th night, to me, is ridiculous. That is for the village, that is for the community, that is for everyone who lives there to go and celebrate our independence.
So do
I
you
shouldn't have to argue that.
Do you have a recommendation? Is there, how would you like this, how do you think this should be handled, to be handled fairly and get what you are promoting?
What's your thoughts?
Not to
Yeah.
interrupt you ladies while you think, but my objection isn't, and I hate the fireworks, I think that is just ridiculous to even sit here and say that to us. I love the fireworks, I want the fireworks. I'm an attorney, what I'm saying comes from my legal background. If our solicitor can tell us that what you propose is acceptable, then I think that's fine going forward, we can look at it. But correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but my assessment is pretty much right on in the sense that we need to treat everyone the same regardless of the content. I'm only looking out for the village when I say what I just said previously, not to be a bad guy or that I hate the fireworks. So if there's something that our solicitor can tell us that puts this in a perspective, I'm okay with that, I'm happy to listen to it.
No, I think you're right. I mean, fundamental equal protection, we've got to treat everybody the same, that's our job.
So,
Now, that being said, I mean, the baseball thing is an issue.
The baseball contract has a work-in-kind provision, does it not? How many dollars in work equity put in by the baseball league as far as maintaining the diamonds and improving the diamonds? I mean, that's part of the, I believe, the bargain between the village and the baseball league. So $1 may be for contractual purposes, but there's services provided by the baseball league to the community, to the village, in maintaining the
It's a
diamonds.
substantial portion of the fees, I know that, of the $100 for each player. I know, I want to say roughly $35 more of each player fee goes to maintenance.
So we're looking in the thousands, aren't we, for the maintenance?
well, to make that argument, we also give to the community, we give them a $15,000 fireworks show. We also give them the July 4th parade.
And the Baseball Association also asks for donations and has banners all around the ballpark.
So, you don't need to know this right now, right?
We are down to the wire and we are counting every dollar.
Right.
To be blunt, if we have to pay for spring chicken and we have to pay for July 4th, there will be no fireworks. That's not a threat, that's just the way it is. Because I lay in bed at night and think, okay, if we make this on this, and we make this on this, we'll make it.
I guess I'm going to throw my 2 cents in here as solicitor. And I agree with what you're saying, and I agree with what Nick's saying. We all want fireworks, but nobody here sitting at this table doesn't want fireworks. At the end of the day, we have a budget that's $300,000 upside down. We're $300,000 in the hole. You know, that's the reality. I'm the lawyer, I sit here and I watch you guys do your business, and I try to keep my mouth shut when it comes to policy issues. It's none of my business. I'm here to give you legal advice. But from time to time, I do have to open my mouth. We have a budget that's $300,000 upside down. And I know that $600 isn't much, and I know a free parade here or a free park fee for this isn't much. And, you know, there are all lots of little things that don't mean much, but I also know that, 3 years ago, a lot of people were laid off because we didn't have money. So I'm just trying to say, so that the people that are out there that are listening to this are concerned that somehow the village doesn't like fireworks, it's not the issue. These people here at this table have a financial responsibility, fiduciary responsibility to the citizens. And when you're $300,000 upside down in your budget, I think it makes sense to think about how you're going to spend the money and where you're going to raise the money. Now, fireworks brings in revenue. Baseball brings in revenue. You know, how much do the kids spend downtown and help the businesses? So there's a lot of considerations for it, but it's not just a, hey, we don't like fireworks, we're unpatriotic or whatever. I mean, I think that's ludicrous. So I apologize for speaking out, but I think that that's something that the people out there need to be aware of, is that, you know, it's a very difficult time for everybody, and we can't just give away money that we don't have. So I apologize for opening them up.
If I may, not that it's going to affect your decision this evening, but staff is looking at bringing forward a recommendation to probably the Parks Committee and ultimately council. Numerous other communities do a grant process for nonprofit organizations that are in the community, civic-minded groups. We are looking at how they put that together. It would be a budgetary line item of, pick your number, $10,000, $5,000, and there is a committee that looks at that and doles out those dollars accordingly. And those dollars can be used or not used for specific purposes and can be used for such things as paying for park rental or fireworks or parades or however that gets put together. But we are looking at creating some type of policy like that moving forward.
And we did make, did you tell us recently that we need to adjust our budget?
Our income tax was less than what we collected last year, though. We collected less than what was planned. Yes. And so this year's budget is based on a higher number.
We just want you to be able to make decisions with all the information.
What is the actual cost of our use that day? Actual cost.
I have no way to determine that.
We need to figure out, like, the employees it takes to get it set up, the number it takes to clean up the park afterwards, and
Electric use, I would
the electric.
that would be the difficult part.
Everything. I know you need to know soon. I think that let's try to be creative here in the next couple of weeks before the next meeting and try to think of ways that maybe ways there are to get around it without creating hardship or dipping further into the budget.
So I'm
Unplanned
clear.
items. Pardon?
The $1,200 you're saying is the difference between fireworks and no fireworks?
Yes.
And I'm
We're
not-
under right now.
I'm not, I don't mean anything by my question, it's just informational purposes,
Yeah.
like.
We've
you
paid
can't
the
put
deposit on the
for
fireworks,
six,
6,800 something. So we owe another 6,800. If we have the band, that's another $2,000. Right now, we have $3,000. So we have to come up with that balance before July 4th. So, God willing, it doesn't rain May 30th. God willing, it doesn't rain July 4th. We may be able to do it and pay you $1,200. But I don't know. I guess maybe with spring chicken, we might be able to get by with half the park. We'll just cram everybody into one end. July 4th, we only really need the Lions building and the stage area. And of course, they set the launch on the other side of the ball diamond. So I don't know if you can rent that to us too. What would our actual cost if we just used half the park?
$200.
Okay, we can do that. I'll pay for that myself. Happy to do that. Is that acceptable?
That's your choice to do whatever you feel like the committee needs to do, but.
Okay,
if
but I'm
you want us
asking,
to-
is it acceptable to the rest of council that we use just half the park? I guess we don't need council's okay, do we?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Well, And we can still give consideration here in the next couple of weeks to what, if there's ways to work around this. I don't know.
I'll put my head to it, see if I can find a way that makes sense, where we're not treating people differently.
And
If
maybe
we can do
it-
it, then we'll do it, believe me. I wanted to have it.
It's just hard for me to wrap my head around it because, you know, the scooter show is for the Scooter Association. That is for them. Granted, you know, Plain City, the public's welcome to go. Steam Thresher, again, it's for the Steam Thresher Association. Plain City's welcome to go. But what we do is for Plain City, in Plain City Park. That park is for Plain City use. So to rent it to outside entities, I can understand that.
So we'll give
And
it
it
some
could be
thought.
like, you know, some rooms, like the room out at the firehouse, you know, they do charge for that unless you're a Jerome Township resident, then it's free. This could easily fall under that same category, couldn't it?
Are you nonprofit yet? Are you nonprofit?
We are a
committee?
nonprofit, we are not a 501c3.
Okay. Just as we give
That's
this
another
thought.
$900.
So maybe it's how we do contracts, or I don't know, but let's all give it some thought, and what maybe some options are that we could make some changes or different language and contracts or something. Work on that. If you have thoughts as we go throughout the next 2 weeks, forward them to Paul as he's giving it legal thought.
I'm assuming we're not the only village municipality in a situation like this where we don't put on the fireworks, but perhaps some other, you know, organization or entity does. Perhaps there's something we can glean from other.
West Jeff does, but they provide their committee $3,000, which helps cover the costs.
For what, I'm sorry?
West Jeff.
For the
The village gives $3,000 towards each event. They do not charge for park rental.
So, any event, they give 3,000 for it. So that would be something like you're talking, Kevin, if we had a fund where it's a flat amount and then it's doled out.
Out of curiosity, and I don't think I know the answer to this, on 4th of July, when people camp in the park, are they paying renting their camping fee?
So the draw of fireworks probably makes camping there more attractive. And from what I've heard, everybody was very pleased with fireworks last year. I expect way more people this year.
Okay. You satisfied with where we're at, this discussion, at this point?
We have to be.
Right. Was there something else? Right, council, anything else to address this evening? Entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.